Well, welcome to Thinking Thursday. We had to start over. There were some technical difficulties with when I thought I was broadcasting, so we're starting over. So hopefully I can see you and you can see me. I'm your host, Bronwyn Lucas, and I am so glad you're here tonight. We were gone for 2 weeks, but now we're back. For the 2 weeks we were gone, I decided to practice what I preach, and that was self care. The first week, I was just exhausted. Life was overwhelming. And I knew that the next week, I was going to be getting everything together for my son's graduation from high school. Yay. And we were having company coming in. He graduated Friday. We were going out of town. So I thought, take some downtime and take care of yourself. So I did, and it was awesome. So I am so glad that you are here and I'm back with you. If you've never been with us before, we always start off with some deep breathing. The reason we do that is when you do deep breathing, and I'll explain how to do it in a moment, but first I'll tell you why. You get more oxygen into your body, more oxygen into your brain. It allows you to calm down, it allows you to relax, it allows you to think clearer. So we do that every time we start the show. So here's how we do it. You're going to breathe in and out through your nose. To the count of four, I'll count you in a slow four. As I slowly count in, you'll slowly breathe in. And when I say out, you'll breathe out. So let's do three deep cleansing breaths. Breathe in, two, three, four, out, two, three, four. In, two, three, four. Out, two, three, four. One more. In, two, three, four. And out, two, three, four. A good, deep cleansing breath. Hopefully, after that, you feel a little less stress, a little more focused, a little centered, feeling just a little better. So, um, we are here. I know, like I said, there was some trouble getting on, and now we are here. So, tonight, I want to talk to you about the world opening up. I've had several conversations about people kind of worried about that, and I wanted to address that tonight. But before I do, I want to ask you to, if you're on, take a moment to share. Share this. If you don't know how to share, if you look right under the picture, right under the video, you'll see the word share. If you click on that, it will allow you to share it with others. So I'm inviting you to please share it with others so we can share this information. Also, I encourage you daily to check the Thinking Thursday page. Every week on this page, you're going to see, every day rather, you're going to see a positive thought. It may be an affirmation, it may be a quote from someone, but daily you're going to see something positive. So I encourage you to check it out every day. Send a like, send us something, but that'll help get traffic to the page and it will be something that can encourage you. So daily, check out this page and you will see something positive, a positive message. You know, we do Thinking Thursday once a week to promote positive health in the African American community. Well, having a positive thought every day can also be beneficial. So I encourage you to do that daily. So, as I said, we're talking about the world opening up, things going back. I won't say to normal, I'll just say things going back. Now, things will never be like they were before because life moves forward. We don't go backwards and say, we're going to pick this up and pick up where we left off. One reason you can't do that is because whatever you experience um, changes you. So the experience of COVID. will change us. We will be different based on how we manage COVID, what life was like for us during COVID. All of that will make us different. So we are moving forward. We're not going backwards. But I want to look at and examine some of the things that people are really bothered by during this time. They are just kind of scared, some people, and some people are back and they've been back for months. Others, not so much. So I wanted to look at a few things about jobs and people going back to jobs. Some things that I have discovered today is that, people were getting extra stimulus money, extra money in their unemployment. Well, that ends June 26th, that extra $300. Also on June 26th, the the fear of COVID being your reason not to go back to work, that changes as well. So for some people, they could say, well, I don't have childcare because of COVID. I'm scared to go back, so I haven't taken a job. Um, have health issues, so I don't want to be around people. All of those reasons will no longer be valid after June 26th. So in 2 weeks, that changes. So as a result, people will be forced back into the work system, whether they want to or not. Um, for some people, being in this time away of being at home and work was a blessing and a curse. So for parents whose jobs shut down and schools shut down, it was good, even though it was hard being at home with your child all day while you had to work and they had to go to school and you had to manage it all. It was difficult, but because everything was shut down and you weren't having to leave the house, it allowed you to be there to take care of your child. People managed it in unusual ways. I know some people who they did their work in the daytime, let their child sleep through half the day, and then woke up and did work with their child and worked it out with teachers. Some had the children upper elementary would have them sit in the room with them and do their work so they could monitor it while they were working. There were so many different configurations of making life happen. Well, that's going to change. It looks like, if numbers don't change and things don't change, in September, August, schools will be open again. Parents are starting to go back to work, those who haven't. Now, many never left work. Those who were in the fast food industry, who were, let's see, fast food, a lot of office workers, as I've said, have already gone back. Those in the medical profession, they're back. So people are back. Grocery store workers, those who could have greatly been impacted, they've always been working, never stopped. But now those in offices are being forced back. And spe- there are some specific issues that may be of concern. What if your job wanted to force you to have the vaccine? In Houston, there is a hospital, and Methodist Hospital, and that's an issue right now. Where out of the 2,600 employees, they say it's 125 who are like, we're not doing it and you can't force us. And wow, what is that going to do for their job? Are they going to be forced to get it? So they were picketing. They don't want to do it. What would you do if your job said um, you have to have the vaccine to come back to work? I've seen where some employers are saying people who already work there don't have to have it, but in order to get a job in the future there, to be hired, you will have to get a vaccine. What do you do if that's you? What do you do if you are the worker who's been off for a while, and in order to go back, you have to show your vaccination status? Do you feel this is a violation of who you are? Are you upset by this going on? Some people do. Well, it is not a HIPAA violation. Someone said, well, what about my right to privacy? Well, if you think about it, secondary school students, elementary school students have to, hold on a second, I didn't plug in my cord and I don't want the battery to go dead. Secondary students, elementary students have to have their shot record or they don't get in. College students have to have a meningitis shot. or they can't attend. So there is a precedent for saying you have to have a certain vaccination in order to participate, in order to have a job, in order to go to school. So that precedent is there. The issue for some people is that this isn't proven and I don't want it and you can't make me. Well, it may come down to that. And we'll look at how the case goes in Houston with the hospital and see just will that be. So let's look at some more of the fears. I said for some it was a blessing and a curse because you were able to be there with your children, even though after about a few weeks, most parents were like, I don't want to do this. But there was nowhere to send them, especially last year as the school year ended. So that was the blessing part of it. You were able to be there. The curse was, I don't know what to do and I don't want to be here all day. This is too much. But you were able to manage it. Um, so let's just look at this whole idea of going back to the office. What are some of the fears? As I said, some offices are going to ask for proof that you've been vaccinated, and they'll say if you have not been vaccinated, you have to wear a mask. If you have been vaccinated, you're free to move about freely. But here's one thing just about that. There's a lot of judgment going on right now. And we're going to talk about that throughout this presentation tonight. So let's say you're back in the office and you wear a mask. You're wearing a mask because you're not comfortable with the vaccine. Or you're wearing a mask because I don't know who's vaccinated or not for real. So I want to protect me. So I'm wearing my mask. Either way, you still have the mask on, and maybe there are only 5 or 6 people out of 100 who are wearing a mask. Will people judge you? Will people think about you in a certain way because either you're afraid or or some say you're just too stupid to get a vaccine? Look at the science. If you're the one who did did not get the vaccine because you were uncertain, do you have certain judgments about them? What are you going to do if it proves that it was all bad and all of you got the vaccine? No one's going to pay for that. That's why I'm going to not get it. These are things I've heard. Either way, I'm hearing a lot of judgment on either side. Is that good? Hmm. I don't think so. We're making these judgments about others based on our opinion. And that's guess what? It's just your opinion. We can look at the science and come up with different opinions. I did finally get the vaccine. I looked at first, I was like, I don't know, it's too new. And then finally, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. Um, and the day I made that decision, I got an email saying, oh, you can come get the shot here, 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 and here. The next, and I got the Johnson and Johnson. That evening was the same day that they said, "Oh, we're going to put a hold on Johnson and Johnson because of the blood clot." So someone asked, "Are you afraid?" I said, "Well, it won't do any good to be afraid. I can't go take it out of my system." So, there were different things happening when people did take it. I made that choice. It is a personal choice. I have spoken with people who will not do it. And some people have health concerns. And because of their health concerns, they feel it's best. They have a lot going on health wise. And I've talked to professionals who agree that people who have too many health issues already going on, it's probably best that they wait. And this was early on. But we make judgments about that. So when you go back to the office, how will that feel? For people who are going back to work for the first time, another fear is just interacting with people. What are your social skills like? For some, their social skills have been hindered, even those who've been in back at work, because you may be working in your own little area with your mask on, not interacting. The break rooms may have been closed down, all the common areas, and you only go to your work area. So even if you're back at work, you're not back at work in the same way you've been. You're just there in your own little world, still isolated, not just sitting around talking. So it can be different when everything opens up and you're able to just go and talk to people. For those who have not been in, it might be a little scary. Talking to some people, they feel that their social skills have changed. They've lost some of those social skills. When COVID first started, I remember making the comment that I think our communication skills will be hindered over the long run. And I still say that, and it's substantiated by what people are saying. By that, I mean, you will lose, with that mask on, for one, even when you're in person with someone, you don't see the whole face. You lose the part of the conversation, that facial expressions. You lose it. Really? Really? You lose a lot of that. You see the eyes, but you lose a lot of that whole facial interaction. When you're just on Zoom or some video platform, you lose body language. It says a lot when someone is folding their arms or somebody is just sitting. I can fake it on Zoom and you won't know. I can play on my phone during a meeting and you won't know. I can't do that in person. So you lose a lot of what's going on when you're just on camera. So now when you have to go back into the office, or you're in the office and you're going back full fledged and everyone's in meetings and everyone's doing the same thing, you have to remember how to interact. And the funny part is, we have to those who haven't been back in the office, man, you got to remember how to dress. Because if you know you're going to be on camera, you just have to worry about from the shoulders up or from, just part of your body. Um, it's just such a change. Someone even commented, your eyes don't always show that smile is coming through the mask, and your eyes don't always show that disgust look. So we've lost how to read that. And your voice doesn't always, you can fake it with your voice, but when you see the face and the body language, man, that means so much. um, some people are not still not comfortable interacting with coworkers because they haven't done it in so long. It's like, oh, I got to go back and sit and talk with people. Well, I haven't had to do that. Some people say, I don't want to shoot the breeze. Let me just do my job. I've been doing my job. I can get it done and go do other stuff. And that's what they're used to doing. And now I've got to go back. Some people like small talk. Some people don't. Those who like it, they're craving it. They can't wait to get back and interact. And interestingly enough, it is younger people and not older people that want that. Your Gen Z and your millennials are the ones statistically that are showing that are craving that interaction. I guess if you've been in the workforce, you're older people have been in the workforce a long time. You're like, whatever, I'm going to do my job. So for some people, they found it easy to just get the job done and not have to interact. Some other things that are going to be different is that commute. Imagine you're one of those people who've been home for over a year and now you've got to get back and drive. Oh my gosh. You've got to get back in traffic. And it's funny, they say that, some of your bills went up because you were home all day. And so you were spending more on electricity. You had to have electricity because you were working online. So you were using more electricity. You were eating at home. So you may have saved money because you weren't eating out or going to lunch, but now you have to go back. So your electric bill may go down, but you have to put more gas in the car and gas is going up. So either way, it's going to hit you financially. Even those who've been going, now that if everything is open, your commute will be different because there'll be even more people on the road and the traffic will go higher and higher. And that's another level of stress. So when you just look at work, and I will say, I always like to throw out some of the difficulties and challenges, and I will have some solutions or some ways to think about that. I do want us to look, though, another concern would be social life. Some people haven't missed a beat. They've still been going out, they've still been eating out, they've been doing everything. Others have not. But even those who were going out, when you would go out, you would have to wear the mask. And again, we talked about how that impacts your interaction. And it still wasn't as crowded. Now that everything's about to open up, people are going back to work. Restaurants and bars are operating at 100%. Things will be crowded. So even those who've been going back, they weren't going back to crowds. And it may be a bit concerning for them. It's like, oh, this is a lot. So that's another change. So what are some of the concerns about the social life? Well, the same things about work. How do I interact with people? Am I comfortable going out to a crowded place? Many people are not. Do I have the social skills anymore? Because for this year plus, I haven't gone anywhere. I've stayed home. I haven't been to a restaurant. I haven't gone to a club. I haven't gone to the gym. I haven't done this or that. Well, if that's you, how do you just jump into it? For those who have been gone that long, it is difficult. A fear and anxiety has really developed. And what do you do with that fear and anxiety? Um, what does social life look like? For those who have just been home, you've lost a lot. As I said earlier, um, when I had my son's gathering and people were just like, I can get a hug. Oh my gosh. So when you're out being social, whether it's, just a restaurant or if it's just going to be around your friends and being able to get that hug, feel that embrace, that's so important. How will you handle it? Are you ready? Will you be shocked how you feel when you do get your hugs? One of the things people said was that Sunday at my gatherings that I haven't had this many hugs in so long. They just want to hug everybody. And everyone was hugging everyone because it felt so good, not just to see people, but reach out and touch. And I want to say this about the touch. The touch is so important. There's studies that say, that talk about how it improves your physical, mental, and yet spiritual health. And, we talk about that being one and us being one solid being. Well, when you touch, we are human beings. We're created to interact. So when you have that touch, have that feeling, um, you are able to feel connected, feel joined to someone. And when you're feeling that, it enhances who you are. We're going to talk in the solution part about that. But let me bring up one or two more issues. Um, with people who haven't been back, the fear is still there for many. And people are slowly doing it. And I talked earlier about the judgment. So the judgment is still there. For those who are not ready to go back, there's the thought that, oh, you need to just get over it. You can't live in fear. Where is your faith? Or you're just being stupid. But then those who are fearful or leery of going back are wondering, I just can't do it. I don't know what's wrong with you. Why are you out there? Uh, is something wrong with you? We put a value judgment. And that's a whole separate issue that as a society, um, do we need to put value judgments on others? But we do. So I'm saying be gentle with each other. Understand that both sides are valid and it comes from who you are, your personal experiences, and what's going on in your life. Um, so let's, spend the second half looking at now that all this is going on, what in the world do we do? How do we change? How do we make it better? Because we do have to think about um, what do we do with all this? As I said, both sides are valid and there's judgment on both sides and there shouldn't be. So first, let's get rid of the judgment. Um, but let's be real with it. One of the things we have to do is be going back real quick to if you're going to be vaccinated or not, be honest. There was a situation where someone was working with a group of people and in order to volunteer, you had to be vaccinated. That was just one of the issues. Well, somebody wanted to volunteer, came to the situation, not mask up, didn't have a vaccine, they were not vaccinated. After it was over, they decided to tell everybody, oh yeah, I'm not vaccinated. I thought I'd let you know. I just really wanted to be a part of it. Wow, that is not fair. That is what keeps people in fear. Those who don't want to go out when situations like that happen, um, that's only going to generate more fear. So let's be honest. If you are, if you're not, be honest. Um, that can be a major issue when people take that stance. So as we go to the more solution end, I want to say be honest, be where you are, be who you are, and say what's going on. So the first thing I will say is let's stop the judgment. Stop the judgment. Be understanding, be able to look at the other person's point of view. Your decision is right for you. Whether you get the vaccine, whether you don't get the vaccine, whether you're comfortable going out, whether you're not comfortable going out, your decision is right for you. And accept that. When we look at how we are managing our mental health through this time of COVID, we see that there's lots of anxiety that has arisen. And by people being judgmental, that's only adding to the anxiety because I don't know what people are going to think. So I'll just stay in because, if I have my mask on and most people don't, I don't want to be around people who don't have a mask. And I don't want people looking at me funny because I do have a mask. So I'll just stay in because that judgment is there. Take away the judgment. Be able to work with other being able to be around others, as I said, is important, but you have to do it on your own terms on how it makes you feel comfortable. Being able to touch and reach out is important, but you have to do it on your own time. As someone says, we're southerners, we're huggers, and that has been gone for so long. And I'll admit it did feel good. And then after a while you're just hugging people who come up and like it was nothing. And you weren't asking, are you vaccinated? You just hugged because that was the environment that was created. But there are a lot of benefits to the social interaction. So here are some that I just want to mention. So if you're afraid of the social interaction, maybe this can help you. And I understand, no judgment here, but I do want to say some benefits of it. It increases your physical health. People who engage in relationships tend to be more active. So if you're in that social interaction and you're able to get out and see people, it's making you more physically active, which helps your physical health. But maybe you're not ready to be in big crowds. Maybe you can go walking with someone, get out and be physical. But doing things with other people that can increase your physical health because it's making you physically active. There's some studies that show that your immune system is better when you're interacting with others. And the more you're around others, this is interesting in this time of COVID, but you can help you fight colds and flu and other ailments because you're in the air and you're able to experience this and you're not so isolated in your bubble and in an incubator. So being with others can do that. When you're interacting with others, maybe you're sharing more meals. These are things we've done in the past. So you're sharing meals, eating, even if it's eating out or eating someone with someone else's home, especially if you make healthy eating choices, that's going to be beneficial to you. And you're doing it with others. So if you have others, you're like, we need to we're going to be more plant based. We're going to do this and that, but you're doing things with others can help you stick to it. Let's say you want to change your eating habits and you're doing it with someone else, again, in that communion, in that community, it will be better for you. It will make you stronger. It will help you. People who have positive social interaction also have a more positive outlook on life. Now, if you fill yourself with negative people, then you're going to be negative. But I'm saying if you can allow yourself to be around people who are positive, you're going to have a more positive outlook on life and you're going to function better. Also, studies show it can improve your mental sharpness, your mental acuity. If you are only home alone and not interacting with others, your thoughts aren't challenged. You aren't thinking as much. So even in this time, if you're not ready to get out, be in communication with people more than just texting. Have conversations, talk to people on the phone, talk to people on a video platform, Zoom someone, so that you're in as much communication as you can be. Have challenging conversation. There is enough in the world going on right now where you can have those challenging conversations. The last thing I want to say that's a benefit to social interaction is it some studies show that people who are more interactive with others live longer lives and more productive lives and they're more happy. So being with others can increase your lifespan. So as you're thinking about how hard it is to get out, um, it's okay to be with others. It will benefit you. But again, be kind to yourself and others. As you do start to go out, think about, Yeah, you might feel a little socially awkward right now if you haven't been out a lot. You might not be able to understand some of the subtle cues of life because you haven't had to deal with it. You haven't had to see facial expressions. You haven't had to deal with people on a daily basis if you haven't been out or if your job didn't require you to. So you might have to sharpen your skills at reading social cues. You might find yourself being overly sensitive. Are you looking at me funny? What do you mean by saying that? Give yourself a break and give others a break and understand that, oh, I misread you. And it's okay. Sometimes you in this transition you might find yourself wanting to be around other people, but then finding it hard when you're actually there because you're not ready. Be gentle with yourself. Take it in small doses. I've spoken with some people, that's what they're having to do. As they're getting out more, they're having to take it in small doses, and each time it gets a little easier. Um, so that's where maintaining your communication can be helpful. Just keep that verbal communication open. So if it feels awkward or weird being around too many people, don't stop. Maybe do small people. Maybe just be around one or two people, then two or three. And maybe you're not ready for that 50 or 60. That may be a while because, again, you don't know who's vaccinated or not. Just because someone says it doesn't mean it. I gave you that example earlier. And are you going to ask everybody, oh, let me see your vaccination card if I'm going to talk to you? Are we going to get to that? I don't know. Um, but start with situations that make you feel safe, make you feel comfortable. What feels good for you, you stay in that area. And when you do, um, that will make you feel a little better. That will make you feel a little more calm by just saying, okay, this is my comfort level. Find your comfort level, stick with it. And for those who have no bars and that no hold back, be gentle with those who do understand. Their reality is their reality. Your reality is your reality. And we have to be kind to one another. Um, get out in limited amount of times and realize that your social skills are your social skills. Someone else's are not. Um, and before COVID, we all had different social skills. We had different limits. We looked at things differently. Why should it change now? Why should we make judgments? So set your own boundaries with people and know what they are. And don't make assumptions about people who feel comfortable and people who don't. Have empathy for yourself and other people. It may be awkward, it may not. If it is, deal with it, but without judgment. I said in the beginning, we won't go back to life as it was before COVID because life moves on. Life doesn't go back. It can't go back because we're different. This year and some months experience has changed your psyche. It's changed your DNA. It's changed who you are. You are not the same as you were June 20, let's say 19. You're not the same as you were January 2020 before COVID stopped our world. You're not the same as you were even March when it initially stopped our world, March 2020. We are different because of this shared experience. It is an experience we shared with the entire world. And because we're different and because things have changed, we won't go back to where we were. We will pick up and start something new. You will go back to work. You will go back to school. Your children will go back to do their regular activities. You'll go back to little league, football, baseball, tennis, swimming. You'll go back to all of these activities, but you won't, the world will be different because of what we experienced. The world will be different. We will see each other different. And as I said, unfortunately, we're making these judgments. Our world will be different. It doesn't mean it's better or worse. It's different because of who we are and what we've experienced. How we handle it will determine if it's better or worse. Will we be a society of judging people based on the decisions they make, which is something we do? Or will we take this to say, I want to have empathy for myself and my choices, and I want to have empathy for you. I want to understand your point of view, and I want you to understand mine in this time of COVID. So as we get ready to transition to something, I will say this also. When we had to change everything because of COVID, that change dropped on us at a dime. In March, when the world shut down, our lives were changed and we had no say about it. We're getting ready to change again. We have some say about it and we can be prepared for it. We weren't prepared for the change in March. We can somehow semi prepare for what's coming. We don't know what it is. In general, people don't like change. But this one we can prepare ourselves for. So prepare for this change. Be gentle with yourself, whatever this change is going to look like. I always like to end with a call to action. And these are things that I challenge you to do. And this week's call to actions are as follows. Number one, be kind to yourself and others. I've said it throughout this. Respect each other's decision. Have a discussion and not an argument with people who make a different decision. And at least maybe you can begin to understand why they make the choice they have made. Leave number two, leave judgment at the door. Your decision to be social or to get vaccinated is yours. Understand that everyone doesn't think the way you do, nor should they. If everyone thought the same way, we'd have a really interesting world. Might not be good depending on what thought that is. Take life at your pace, not at someone else's. That's number three. You do you. As we go back to whatever we're going, well, I won't say go back, as we transition to whatever we're transitioning to, take it at your pace. Let your pace be yours, not someone else's. And number four, remain politically aware. Vote in every election and be an educated voter. There is a lot going on and we need to take care of that as well. So be that educated voter. Take care of those around you during this time. Be that emotional support. People still need it. The anxiety is still high. People are still stressed. COVID unleashed anxiety that was dormant in many people, and it started anxiety that didn't even exist because of all the changes. So be kind to someone. I'm Bronwyn Lucas, and I encourage you to join us again for Thinking Thursday. Like the page. Come back every day to the Thinking Thursday page for a positive thought, a positive quote, an affirmation, but a good thought for that day. So look every day, and have something positive to say to you. So I want to thank you for joining, and I will see you next week. Enjoy your week, enjoy yourself, be kind to yourself, and be kind to others. Thank you for joining.